Good morning. This is Sayed Masood from NATS Incorporated in Middletown, Connecticut. This short video and a series of the videos that we will do now will be to show you the operation setup of a gamma spectroscopy system using liquid nitrogen cooled germanium detector like the one that I have here, along with our JAGUAR 5500 digital MCA system and the software associated with it. We are going to do multiple videos to show each of the parts so that users can start from the fundamentals and build themselves up to the higher levels of work involving the software. First of all, I will explain to you the germanium detector. This is a coaxial germanium detector which is liquid nitrogen cooled. It's a high resolution germanium detector and it comes already with some cables and connectors. I want to make sure that you understand the various cables. The first thing that you will see is this big preamp type cable, which is a 9-pin DB connector. This cable here is used to connect to the back part of most MCAs, which is called the preamp power. You will see that in our MCA here we have something called preamp power, and this is used to connect with that. The second thing that you are going to see is a long connector like this. This is called the high voltage connector. It's very important that you don't mix this up with other connectors. This is the SHV, which is the type of connector used to transmit high voltage power supply from the back of the MCA. An SHV connector, the female part of the SHV connector is usually going to be a longer connector than the BNCs that we see in any unit. You can see in here it's longer, and this connector is also longer. In addition to that, you are going to see a number of other connectors in here. There is a high voltage, and another important connector in here is called out. Out is really taking the data out of the system. It's a standard BNC, not to be confused with a test connector. A test connector is used for oscilloscopes and different types of other devices. Most of the time during operations, we are going to use the SHV to provide the high voltage to the detector, and the data out connector, which is an BNC connector like this, and then the preamp power, which provides preamplifier power to the detector. Depending on the type of detector, this type of detector will also have a high voltage LED and inhibit line signal. There is a green and a red LED, and we will see during the operation of the unit that once you specify the type of inhibit circuit that is in the system, this light might go on, showing you whether the detector is adequately cooled. If it's cool, as soon as you try to apply high voltage, it will show a green light, and if it is not cool, then it will show a red light. If your detector has been cooled for more than 24 hours in liquid nitrogen, then when you connect it and have the right circuit, it will show you a green light here, emitted green light, which is going to show you the detector is cooled. Now I am going to show you the connections between this detector and the MCA, and before that I will familiarize yourself with this, try to familiarize you with this detector. This is our JAGUAR 5500 unit. This is a very nice digital MCA that is that can be used in the lab and also for portable applications, because this has a chargeable battery inside, and depending on the condition of your battery, you can technically use it for 4 to 6 hours in the field as well as in the lab. We've seen that gives you extremely stable, high-end 16,000 channel spectroscopy grade MCA capabilities in this MCA. This MCA comes with various connectors. The front panel of this is the preamp. Then you have a toggle on-off switch. You can see that I am not connected, but the on-off switch shows you that it's connecting because it's battery backed up. Then you have a high voltage connector, a signal in connector, that is the signal in coming from the detector. And on the other side, you have two important connectors that we are going to use. First of all, it's really the charging port, which is where your charger, which might look something like this, will be plugged into. It's typically like a computer charger that gets plugged into here, this port in here. And in addition to that, you're going to have two different connectors. One is going to be a USB. A USB connector is going to allow you to use a typical printer cable that has one end wide USB printer port connector and the other one is a flat USB. We suggest that you use USB 2.0 or higher, good grade connectors for data communications without interruptions. So this gets plugged in to the USB port here. If you are going to use USB connectors like this, and we are going to show you that if you are going to network this MCA, you can also use the Ethernet port, which is the LAN, or you can use the Ethernet port simply to connect using a standard Ethernet cable plugged in here to operate this MCA directly by communication with the Ethernet port of your computer. So now we are going to connect the device. I'm going to power it up and we're going to go to the setup of the device in the software.